Hello, everybody, and welcome to an opening day CLNS Red Sox Roundtable. Alex Barth, Nick Quaglia, Mike Petraglia with you. I almost got those names screwed up, guys. It's the silent G's. They're going to kill me all year.
They're close enough. The silent G's, baby.
Well, if there's one thing that's not going to be silent this year, I think we know it's the Red Sox bats. They go out in the offseason. They sign JD Martinez. Hanley Ramirez now supposedly on the TB12 diet. Mitch Moreland gets a fresh contract. The reason I mentioned those three guys in particular, the Red Sox have it's a good problem, that they have 10 everyday guys for 9 spots. And it's going to be between those three, Ramirez, Moreland, and Martinez, for those 2 spots between the outfield, first base, and designated hitter. Now, according to the lineup that we've seen so far, this could change by the time this video comes out. But from what we've seen so far, Mitch Moreland will get the day off, at least on opening day. We don't know if this is the go-to roster. Cora has said he will be flexible. But guys, and Mike, we'll start with you. If you're Alex Cora, how are you managing this trifecta?
Well, I think obviously Hanley Ramirez has shown through telling everybody that he knows what's on the defensive cards and how to shift and how to play first base. He wants to be in the field every day or as much as possible. So I think you allow Hanley that opportunity. He's earned it, I think, in spring training to be on the field at first base. And I think as much as JD Martinez wants to be in the field, right now he's your starting DH. Now, he said in the last week or so that, he's 30 and he wants to play in the field and he would love to play first base. But right now that's not going to be the case. I don't think Alex Cora is going to make him a primary option at first base. Certainly he can play there. That could be a possibility. Obviously he can play in the outfield, but I think right now it makes the most sense to have JD Martinez as a DH. And Mitch Moreland, if you want to rotate, either have him rotate at DH, rotate him at first base if Hanley needs a day off, or obviously when you have a $235 million payroll, the biggest in baseball, he's a great bat to have off the bench late in games. And I think that's a great position for the Red Sox to be in. It's ironic because Dave Dombrowski was really, I thought, lambasted early in the offseason. Everybody remembers, that people got on Dombrowski for signing Mitch Moreland as their only big free agent move. And as it turns out, he could be a big piece of the bench.
And the other ironic thing for me, Hanley all of a sudden wants to play the field. Wasn't this the guy that last year said he had no interest in playing the field at all? So maybe he makes Mitch Moreland a good late inning defensive replacement too. Nick, your thoughts?
Well, that's the thing with Hanley Ramirez that I'm excited to see this year. The guy is potentially in a contract year, and he's eager to play first base. When Hanley hits, Hanley's engaged. I love Hanley Ramirez. I like what he brings to the team. He brings a lot of energy, but he's like a child. You got to keep him motivated. You have to keep him focused on the game. And that's why I was worried last year when they put him at DH. I didn't like the thought of him just sitting on the bench and just getting up a couple of times a game to swing a baseball bat. I love that he's playing first base, and I love that he wants to play first base. If he wants to get out there, fine. He's fully locked into the game. And again, this is going to be a contract year for him. He's going to be looking for more money in his realistically, probably his last deal of his career. He's going to want to perform well. And you said it, Drags. You got to stick JD Martinez at DH for right now, because where else you're not going to put him in the outfield. You're not going to sit Benintendi. They love Bradley in Fenway Park. Let's see what his bat does this year. Right. And realistically, JD Martinez getting in left field, I think it all depends on Jackie Bradley's bat, but that's a story for a different day. And Mitch Moreland being on the bench and coming in late innings in games, that might be the perfect role for him. And it's even better because you can switch him out and put him in at first base too. Mitch Moreland in his role right now, being a bench player, being a guy who's gonna come off and be able to play great first base and provide some power at the end of ball games. I think this trifecta, this triangle that they have going on right now, it's kind of a perfect storm. I know people want to play in different areas, but again, having Hanley at first base to me is one of the biggest things of this team this year, because again, when he's focused, his power shows up. And when his power shows up, that ball lands on the pike.
And it goes a little understated too. And you don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want everybody to get hurt, as we've seen with the Boston Celtics, but you don't want anybody to get hurt either. And if we look at really the two key pieces of the Red Sox offense, as it at least power-wise, it stands right now, JD Martinez and Hanley Ramirez, these are guys who generally don't play more than 120 games in a season. These are guys who, if they're not injured, they're going to need a good amount of maintenance days. So to have Mitch Moreland as that second string for both of them, you could do a lot worse. I think he's going to be valuable when Hanley goes on that mysterious 15-day DL stint in July. To have Mitch Moreland, it's a drop-off, but it's not as much as if you say had to turn to Brock Holt. So the Red Sox have set themselves up well, not just because, hey, they have a good player who doesn't need to start every day, but it's at a position where you know they're going to need depth down the road. You know that injuries are going to be an issue and fatigue is going to be an issue. Let's move away from that, though. Let's take a look at the infield, and we've already talked about this a bit on previous roundtables, but Dustin Pedroia is not going to start the season. Devin Marrero was traded before the year. Rafael Devers still a little shaky at third base. We don't know what he's going to be. Defensively, how do you see this infield working out? Do they have enough where it's not a concern for you guys, where it's not going to cost them ball games?
I think it's a bit of a concern. Absolutely. Eduardo Nunez is serviceable, certainly at second base. Xander Bogaerts is very steady to very good, above average at shortstop, and certainly his range has improved over the years. But at third base, like you said, if you're going to have Rafael Devers bat, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of the defensive proficiency that maybe a better third baseman would bring. Perhaps they, again, go with a defensive type of replacement late in games, but is Brock Holt really that kind of guy for you? Can Blake Swihart play? What kind of role is he going to play around the infield? He could possibly play a little bit of third base. I mean, I'm sure that the Red Sox, that thought has crossed their mind.
I mean, he's a shortstop in college, right? If memory serves me correctly.
Correct. And there's a lot of opportunities that you could have in terms of throwing guys in there for reserve roles late in games. But right now, the concern certainly until Dustin Pedroia comes back and he shows that he's 100% defensively in the field, defensively up the middle, it's got to concern you a little bit.
Nick, real quick, can the Red Sox infield survive without Pedroia?
It's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough. And you just talked about it all. You're going to put your best solution if Devers has any issues at third base is putting Brock Holt in at third. But that's the thing. You're going to be taking out Devers' bat. We know Devers isn't a great third baseman, but his bat, we think, again, second year, kind of a rookie, not really a rookie. His bat is the reason that he's in the
I have him leading the team in home runs. It should be worth it in theory. It should be, but we don't really know what his defense is going to be completely yet. So it could be a train wreck. Then you might have to throw Brock Holt in every once in a while if he's really costing you games, but I don't see him costing you games to that extent where you would have to actually bench the guy. Two birds, one stone. Why don't we get Hanley to play third again like he did in LA? No, I'm just kidding. I don't understand.
No.
I don't, on a serious note, I don't understand why Brock Holt made this team and they traded Devin Marrero. Marrero gives him a lot more. He can get a lot more use out of him. He's much better defensively. I'm not sure what Holt's going to be able to do, especially with the weight he put on. Even if he denies it, eye test, he put on weight. He's a guy who's going to have a magnifying glass on him early. But we shall see how it goes with the infield. I want to remind everybody that this roundtable is brought to you by Hims. Thanks to Hims, baldness is now just an option. Men, did you know it is easier to keep the hair you have than replace the hair you've lost? If you want to get started on that process, sign up at forhims.com. That's FORHIMS.com/report. You get a $5 trial if you do that, but it's while supplies last, so make sure you sign up now at forhims, FORHIMS.com/report. We'll have more opening day coverage and, of course, coverage throughout the season on CLNSmedia.com and at Red Sox CLNS. So give us a follow, why don't you? For Nick Quaglia and Mike Petraglia, my name's Alex Barth. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.